All right. Well, welcome everyone to our Inscape, the Art of Cloud Management. My name's Kevin Vogel. I'll be your host today. And with me, I have Chris Pyle. Chris,
Hey,
say hello.
hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Going great, Chris. You look very comfortable up there in your mountain cabin, it looks like. So everyone, we're going to be doing this live. So if you have any questions for Chris or myself or anything about Inscape, as part of Teams, you can hit us with a chat. I'll be looking at it as we go here so that Chris can answer whatever questions you might have for him about Inscape. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris.
Hey, Kevin, what an awesome introduction. You should be on some type of, TV show or something, the straight guy. Awesome job. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And what we think will be a educational half hour, 40 minutes on the overview of Inscape, our cloud and SaaS management platform. Before we jump in, I just want to say, how did we get here? As you might have heard, CDW has made quite a few acquisitions over the past couple years. One of them was this year with a company named Sirius Computer Solutions. We were part of that acquisition, and during that acquisition, CDW came in to own a product called Inscape, which is now part of the CDW built department within CDW. And it's really here, and I want to take 1 second. I think it's important, Kevin, for the team of people on the call to describe why we built Inscape. And so I'm going to share just one slide. Okay, Kevin, I'm not going to kill everybody. I'm just going to do just one slide here. Kevin, let me know if you can see my slide. I just want to make sure.
We are good. We are good, Chris.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of IT professionals on the call today. And we went out, and when we started building Inscape, we went out and asked a couple questions. We asked, how many hyperscalers, cloud providers are you working with? And the answer was usually two, Azure and AWS and GCP or whatever it was. And then we asked another question, how many SaaS applications, software as a service applications, are you presently using today? And oh my God, it was crazy. We had people at 200, 300. We had some as little as 20, but on average, it was around 80 different software as a service applications. And we then asked, well, how many tabs do you have open to manage all these SaaS applications and cloud hyperscalers? And the answer was around 35 or something like that. So we, listening to our customers, said, look, this is crazy. We have to help the IT professional, stop this swivel chair integration. How can we help streamline this and make it better for our clients? And so this is really what we're focused on. CDW loves what we're doing with Inscape and investing quite a bit of money into this. So for all of you CDW clients, you're welcome. And I think you're really going to enjoy, what we're building here. So really where it came at is when you look at this, we see Inscape as this engagement platform in between the IT and business professional to Microsoft 365, Azure, AWS, GCP. Very soon, we're going to have Adobe and many, many more applications. And what we heard is that our customers wanted one place for provisioning. Okay, please don't make me go to all these different SaaS apps. One place to provision licensure and assign licensure. Can you give me one place to go to so my end users have one place for training, not 80 different SaaS app training sites? Help me with the adoption or change management of the technology that we're purchasing through SaaS. We would like to access one marketplace. Why do we have to go through Microsoft Teams marketplace, the Microsoft Azure marketplace, the AWS marketplace? Can we go to one place that accesses all of those? And, Kevin, right, we've fallen in love with this problem. The on and offboarding of employees that our customers have to deal with, okay? The hire to retire methodology we love this. And since everything is software as a service, we believe that there's a way to really streamline all of this. And we're going to talk about that.
And especially with remote work now, Chris, right? I mean, remote work with onboarding and offboarding of employees, this is something that they were struggling with.
Yeah, it really was. And it's still something, again, as more SaaS providers come on, and turning them off is not any easy thing. You got to make sure they do it securely. So they want, your peers wanted one place for management, one place for reporting. Don't make me go to all these different sites for reporting. One place for budgeting across all of my clouds and SaaS. One place to go to look across my multi-cloud cost review. Okay, I don't want to do swivel chair integration going from AWS to Azure to the Microsoft portal. Can I go to one place, please? Oh my God, this was big. Can you give me one unified cloud bill? I don't want all these different cloud boils. Can you give me one simple one? One place to call for support, the ability to create workflows. Can you give me some productivity insights on how are people leveraging all these different applications? What are they using? What are they not using? And then please, I never want to be surprised by my cloud bill again. I don't want to be saying, why is my AWS or Azure bill so high? So we developed a machine learning algorithm that is very prescriptive to how you, the end user, utilize the cloud. So we notify you immediately or in advance of any anomalies. So this is really what we are building. Are we there? Are we done with it all? No, we're never going to be done because we're going to keep adding more and more different SaaS products, cloud products onto this. But this in general is where we're shooting for. Okay, so let me jump, and since we only have that one slide, let me go ahead and jump in. So this is Inscape. Okay, you are looking at this platform. Let me just tell you just quickly a little bit about the platform. The platform itself is built in Azure. It is a SOC 2 Type 2 certified application, so it's very secure. We use token-based authentication that supports MFA. And we leverage the Office 365 Microsoft single sign-on. It's full role-based access control, so you can control who has access to what in the application. Each one of these tiles runs in a Docker container, and the whole thing's managed by AKS, Azure Kubernetes Services, and that's what we're really about. So today we're going to review quite a few different things, but I don't want to spend time on things that I think are just normal in these days. Needless to say, you can come in and purchase licensure, okay, from Inscape. You can buy your Office 365 licensure. Very soon you can be purchasing all your Adobe. You can assign the licensure, very simply, all done very easily. But I want to move into some things that I think are quite unique. At least that's what your peers are telling us as we're moving through. One of them, again, it seems very simple, but the ability to come in when you're purchasing through CDW, you would now will start being able to see one place to go to for your financial snapshot. Now, if we have some IT professionals in here to say this really doesn't affect me, but let me tell you who it really does affect. It really does affect all of the people in accounting, purchasing, anybody in finance, where you can now come in, pick any date that you see that you want or a custom date range and say, how much did CDW charge me overall for everything, for AWS, Microsoft Azure, trended over time. Maybe you want to know how much did they charge me specifically for Office 365? How much did they charge me for Azure? How much is that per month? Azure reservations, marketplace, software, if there was anything in there, all from that. Oh, you know what? I also purchased I also buy IWS from our friends here at CDW as well. We can see all of that and what you're spending it on. And of course, all of this can be exported to a nice CSV file that you can manipulate to your heart's content on, just about anything on what's there. And as you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, What's next? We spoke about, we also have, not in this demonstration, but we do have GCP. So if you're thinking about moving to Google, and buying that from CDW, you'll be able to see all of that, as well as Adobe. That will be next. All of the managed cloud services. So all of this here in one simple view for you, the customer, to see. And then the other thing was this ability where your customers, your peers told us, and we've been doing now for several years, is providing a nice, clean, simple invoice with all of your cloud purchases. As you can see here, this is from Sirius, but we're moving into CDW. But in a nice invoice now, you'll get everything prorated on the cost from Microsoft Office 365, Azure, AWS, all showing up on one nice, seamless invoice. So I know a lot of customers really do appreciate that. The people in IT might not appreciate it as much as the people in accounting, but it is a big thing. So that's that one slide here. So you can purchase all of your licensure, all of your Azure, AWS, GCP, Adobe. You can assign all the licenses. You can then see all of your financials and when you're billing. So Kevin, what do you think? Should I jump into the Office 365 management first or into the cloud management first? What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I think since you talked about assigning licenses, let's go into Office 365. I think that's something that people play with a lot every day.
Okay, great. So before I jump into the Microsoft 365 management tile, let me tell you a little bit about what we did here. We were getting quite a few calls from our customers saying, look, you know what? The Microsoft portal is good, but it's not great. There's a lot of, back and forth going from this place to this place to this place. I have level 3 people who are answering level 1, calls, and the level 1 people don't know PowerShell. And, can you make it somewhat easier? So we took that challenge on, and what we did is we came up with this. This is Inscape Manage. And what we did here is we took hundreds of PowerShell commands. We've connected into the Microsoft Graph API and put a nice, elegant, easy to use GUI on top of this. Now, I'm within a pretty old tenant here, so in this demonstration, but I think you'll get to feel. So right away, we can see that we have, this is just some basic, information along the top. Everywhere where you see the ellipsis, you can go ahead and get a detailed log or report. So maybe you want to see all mailboxes with full permissions. You just simply click that button. Here's every mailbox that has full permissions. Kevin, maybe it might be interesting to find out who's got full permissions and send as privileges to our accounts payable mailbox. Well, all these people do. Maybe you like this report and you want to go ahead and schedule it. You can schedule this report to be sent out to as many people as you would like on any time frame that you like. So you can do that. So, so some quick things, externally forwarded mailboxes, total mailbox count, mailboxes on lit hold, the number of licenses consumed, the number of licenses that you have available that you've purchased that you might not have assigned. And then we give you some quick stats, how many, like here, the 14 global admins. We never.
That's best Kevin, practice, isn't it, Chris?
That is not the right practice. We recommend probably 3. But the point is, it's there. A lot of just different things, number of shared mailboxes not accessed in 26 days. And you can click on any of these and it will give you all that information. Top 10 mailboxes, etc. Please forgive us. Usually we have a mail traffic summary here of good in, good out, spam in, spam out. But since this tenant here is one we don't use, we're not sending email really through it. But then we can jump over. A lot of your peers asked us, hey, Chris, can you help us out here with the cost management side of Office 365? So we have a lot of customers that are CSP users, and I know CDW has basically 7,000 CSP customers. And how can CDW help me with my licensure? So what we do is we tell you, hey, look, here's how much licenses you have, your complete license cost. And then here's the unassigned licenses that you have. So in other words, you're paying for $404 worth of licenses that you haven't even assigned to anybody yet? Is there an opportunity here to maybe save some money? We also tell you licensed inactive users in the past 30, 60, 90 days. So in other words, these people have a license, but they haven't logged in 30, 60, 90 days. We're bringing that to your attention. We give you, people like with blocked. So the admin has blocked an end user from logging in, but they are still licensed. We're bringing that to your attention saying, hey man, maybe you can go ahead and, remove the licensure. So some cool stuff there. We then also got quite a few requests to be able to work within the Office 365 environment to provide showback, chargeback. So what we did here is we went out and said, hey, you know what? Based upon what is in your Active Directory, right, Kevin? Because that's what we're pulling from. If you're like, where, how are you getting these filters? These filters are based upon your AD. So maybe you want to know, like, by department, like how much am I spending in, whatever, right? In my accounting department. Well, you're spending $133.50. Here's where this is where it's being spent. And if you want, you can export this to Excel or CSV or get a detailed log of it. So again, trying to help you, one, inform you, give you the ability to do cost allocation by department, also giving you some suggestions, perhaps on maybe how to save money. And then we gave you a quick little security snapshot. Once again, we are not trying to displace Secure Score. We love Secure Score, right, Kevin? I mean, we use it all the time. All we're doing is just taking that information and putting it in one simple dashboard. And then we give you some quick things like strong passwords, passwords set never to expire. We tell you that. And again, you can click here and get a detailed log. Who's forwarding all their mailbox internally, externally, you can get that as well. Whoops, sorry, I'm clicking the wrong thing. But you can say who's forwarding their mailboxes externally. And then depending on what licenses you have, we can give you impossible travel risks. We can give you anonymous IPs, unfamiliar location risk events that are happening within your tenant, etc. We can also tell you out of all the users, you have 232 of 537 that have registered for MFA. Here's the users that are not MFA registered, etc. We bring that to your attention.
And like you said, Chris, all this data is available. It's just spread out all over the environment inside the administration portal. We just made it much easier for them to find what they need and actually use it for reports and things that they're always getting asked for.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's like Uber. We didn't invent the sharing. Taxis have been around forever. Just made it simpler and easier. At least that's what the customers are telling us. So not only that, but let's just jump in. So we got this stuff and we got hundreds of reports. I don't have the time to go through them all, but we literally have hundreds of reports broken down by all these different categories of, everything from, how many people are utilizing, I want to get a license summary, license cost. I want to, breakdown of license cost by the companies we own, user license by active service and non-active service. You can look at a leaf. Here's his license, here's his service that he has, what he's got turned on in there, etc. But there's literally hundreds of reports that you can, really set up within your environment on schedules that, will help you increase your productivity, reduce your cost, and improve your security posture within all of these different categories. And you can go ahead and set these up on any type of schedule that you would like. Some of the other cool things that we've done,
This is my favorite. This is my favorite, Chris. It really is.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm happy, Kevin. So one of the things is we mapped out the complete cloud for you. So now because CDW, we, like you said, we are managing thousands and thousands of customers. And what we found out is sometimes when we get calls regarding degradation in speed or latency, what we did is said, why don't we go ahead, and what we did is we ran these PowerShell commands. So we said, why not put it in the app? So we can actually tell you within Inscape exactly how many mailboxes you have on how many servers. It freaks me out that Microsoft, right, spreads out 54 mailboxes to 54 servers. And then we can also, with a click of a button, tell you who is there, whose mailboxes are on these servers. We can actually tell you that. And the reason why a lot of our customers like it is, one, if you have anything to do with GDPR or need to have a second source of truth of where your mail lives, we can show you where they live in what data centers. And if there is a problem, we can actually say, you know what, all these people complaining of latency are all in the same data center. As a matter of fact, according to this, we can say they're on the same server, and it helps Microsoft quite a bit sometimes. We're going to move in here just a little bit to the management side. So really what we just showed you here was some cool little reporting things, some nice dashboards. But now let's go ahead and show you how Inscape helps you manage. So let's just pull up a user card. So let's say Chris Pyle calls in. We see that there's 2 Chris Pyles within the organization, and the one that's calling in is, Chris Pyle, the executive. Here it pulls up the user details. And from here, there's a lot of details, all the email addresses, when was the account created, last login, mail storage, used, and just a quick, snapshot. And again, where the email server is located. We also give you some quick information here along the top, account properties. So in other words, Chris comes in, he's one of those executives that said, I never want my password to expire. Okay, boss, click here, hit save. Really simple, easy to do, one location to do that. Hey, here's the permissions on Chris's mailbox. Oh, you know what? I want to add one more person. Let's go ahead and, we will add Kevin Vogel to this, and we'll give him full access, hit save. It's done. Nice and simple and easy. Even a caveman can do it type of thing. So, very simple stuff. And again, I think, Kevin, you're right. We're not trying to say that you can't do this in the Microsoft portal. It's just that we think we've made it simpler to do it. All the memberships that Chris belongs to, here's all the group memberships that he has, his mailbox properties, his exchange settings. Hey, you know what? I don't want Chris to have Outlook web access. Great, let's just turn that off then. Boom, hit save, you're golden. The role assignments, all of the regional configurations, exchange properties. And again, here's all the, here's what Chris has. And maybe, I don't want Chris to have sway, so we'll just turn that off. And just do that real simply here. So we, a lot of things in here with PowerShell and things like this. The other options that our customers really love is push button Pst Mail Exporting. So all you need to do is just tell us the storage location, the blob storage location, and where you want this, and hit one button, and we can export this 39 gig mailbox. No PowerShell required, very simple, easy, no worries. So if next time, somebody calls you from legal, hey, I need this, this person's mailbox, you can do that really simply with that. Customers love that. Reset passwords all here. A lot of great things. The other one too is that I want to show is the deprovisioning of Chris. So we talked about this hire to retire. And we said, okay, so Chris Pyle just won the lottery, right, Kevin? And we want to go ahead, and he just quit. So where do you want to forward his mailbox to somebody? Yeah, yep. We'll go ahead and type that in. Do you want to reset his password real quick? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Do you want to block him from logging in? Do you want to remove him from the GAL? Do you want to enable litigation hold? And how many days do you want to do that? And again, it's very simple. Let's convert it to a shared mailbox since nobody's here. Since he's no longer here, we have multiple people. Here's the permissions that were on Chris's mailbox. These people had send as and full access permissions. Do you want to modify or remove those? Yes. And here's the permissions Chris had on these mailboxes. Since he's no longer here, do you want to modify or remove those? And then there would be a summary of everything that you just did, and you hit finalize, and you're golden, and you go ahead and submit. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here, we're just trying to make it simpler and easier. And it's the opposite on the onboarding. We let you set up templates. Okay, So Kevin, I think we only have a little bit of time. So that was, we have a lot more, like we can do bulk operations. If you wanted, real quick, if you wanted to put, let's just say, I'm not going to do that one. Let's just say we'll put in place archiving, and you want to do that for all the users in your company, user filter by person, or do you want to do an attribute? Maybe you want to say, I want to select an attribute for department that's equal to, and you could say, I'm just going to put the sales. And, you could do this, and here's all the people in sales. Yep, that's the people in sales. Yes, I want to perform this bulk operation. You acknowledge that you want to do it. You hit submit. Boom, in-place archiving is on. No worries. Just again, pretty simple. Level 1 type of engineers at the help desk can do this type of stuff. Kevin, do you think I could jump into the next one? What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you guys can see that Chris mentioned something. You don't have to have your high-end engineers now managing Office 365. You can have a person that really doesn't have to know a lot about it, and we just simplified it so that you guys can bring in those people that are growing, but not the ones that you can use for the really high-end projects.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And the other thing is too, is if you're adding a new user, again, you can set up and, apply different roles. So they only have, like, say, roles to, just changing passwords or running reports. So full access, full RBAC in there.
Right. So let's go into cloud management, Chris. I think that's the other really good tile.
Okay, cool. We also have a lot of people who use Microsoft Teams. We have something that helps with your Teams governance and things like that. But why don't we jump in now we covered the Microsoft 365 management. If we have time, we'll run into the team captain management. So here, I don't know how many of the audience is familiar with the FinOps Foundation, but the FinOps Foundation really talks about the FinOps, a financial operation model for the cloud. And it talks about the financial discipline of how you manage the cloud, because cloud spend is really getting out of control. So if you take nothing away from this meeting with CDW today, if you're not familiar with the FinOps Foundation, go to finops.org. It's a free place, free to join. It's full of like-minded people who are trying to get a handle on this. So this framework is what we used as our North Star to build our cloud management platform. So the first thing is, you as professionals in IT need to be able to give your lines of business, your application owners, you want to give them information, provide visibility and cost allocation to all the cloud spend. So let's start on this one first, okay, Kevin? So We're going to come in here, and in this case, we have AWS and Azure in this tenant. We also support Google, but we don't have it in this tenant. But let's say you're coming in here and you want to come down and you want to create a profile that you want to be able to inform. Let's say it's a serious lab profile. So you're the lab owner. Okay, so we know that the lab owner, as you can see here, we can look at AWS or Azure or whatever, but let's just pull up and say, look, we're only interested for right now in AWS. So now we're going to bring up just the AWS spend. And you want to specifically say, I want to give, this account. Now you can see there's many accounts. It automatically goes up and gets all of the accounts. But you want to give, you're working on a profile to give to the Serious Lab. Kevin, you're responsible for the Serious Lab. You're responsible for all the spend, everything that goes on in there.
I have a budget that I got to follow.
Exactly, all of that. So here's the Serious Lab. We're setting this up for you. We can go down and say, oh, it's a Serious Lab. And maybe the only thing you're concerned about is a certain service, and it's maybe just the EC2, right? Just the Elastic Cloud. So maybe it's just that you're concerned with. So we're really drilling down here now to what we're spending. So you're spending basically $2.87 in this demo here.
Chris, we're over budget. I'm telling you right now, we're over budget.
So you can come in, but you can keep adding more filters down to tags, resources, cost types. But I'm just going to keep it here. So you can come out and you can create this this profile, and we're going to go ahead and call it Kevin's Lab, Kevin Lab, and and you want to receive a snapshot of the spend to see how it's going on a weekly basis, and you want it on Tuesdays. And we're going to set it, you're going to send it to, multiple people within the organization, and we'll go from there. And so you can save this. So now you have Kevin's Lab here, but you can also have a lot more. In this demo, the new one, we have up to 1,000 because customers have a lot. But you can come in here, and then when Kevin logs in, he will only see his lab that he's concerned with. And, but you as the administrator, if you want, you can look into everybody's, different profiles, okay? And look at the UK Serious Lab or the Sam's Lab or whatever it might be, or, go back to Kevin's. So it's all there. And we give you AWS, and you can export this. And again, you can look at it by service. Again, you can export this to CSV, go crazy with it. All right, so cool. So what do we do here? We went ahead, we set that out. And then again, but the great news is you can say, oh, Chris, I can do that in AWS. Well, yeah, you can. Based upon what we've seen, our customers say it's a lot easier. And we do it across multiple clouds, trying to help that. So you don't have that swivel chair integration. Let's say you wanted to go in and add a budget. And you can see Inscape allows you to control budgets across multiple clouds. So, and you can come in here and just look at this. This one here, we can look at the progress. You can say, hey, how are we doing? You can get the details on this. You can see here's the amount of the budget, where we are with the spend. You can see the alert conditions of when people would get alerted. But why don't we go back, Kevin, just real quick and show how easy it is to add a budget. So in here, again, we're going to go back and say, hey, the only thing we want to focus on is AWS. And I want to add a filter because Kevin is responsible only for one thing, and that is the Serious Lab. So he's responsible for that. And we're going to call it the Kevin Lab. And we're going to give it a budget amount, and we're going to say that it's $300. I'm just using a number. And hey, you know what? Let's notify people at 25% of budget, 50% of budget, 75, etc. And it will go out and notify those associated people, whoever you choose, up to 6. Here's how you're doing when you hit these different budgets. Now, you might say, well, Chris, this is static. And it is. It's a static budget. Some of your peers have said to us, we would like to see a non-static, meaning that I want Inscape to tell me for Kevin's lab over the past 6 months, this is how much he's been spending. And I want to give him a 20% uplift in that budget. That is coming. Quite a few people have asked us to do that. So we're going to be able to allow you to choose, and say, okay, what is my spend been over this point? I want to create a budget that gives them 20% above that and then track to that. So that's coming. Great idea from one of our customers, isn't it, Kevin? Really good.
Absolutely, because the one thing that we know about is IT is always growing, right? They're always bringing in new applications. So of course you got to have the plan.
Yeah. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do? Inscape with CDW just informed. We gave you the capability to give visibility and allocation by department, by tag, by account, by subscription across all of your clouds. Okay, great. The next question is, well, what is CDW and Inscape going to do to help me optimize this? Because that's the next piece on the FinOps Foundation. Okay, great. So now we come into Advisor. And we can go into the advisor, and let's just go into the dashboard. And we look at multiple things here. We're looking at cost optimization. We're looking at performance, service limits, security, high availability. Again, across all of your clouds, not just Azure or AWS or GCP. We're going to look at every environment, bring all those recommendations into one place. So in this one here, we're saying, we're bringing to your attention that, hey, look, you know what? In this, we're going to go ahead and say, look, you know what? We can save you some money here. You could buy a reserved instance. We can save you $20 a month. Hey, there's an underutilized Amazon EBS volume here. We tell you what the volumes are, where they're located, what the savings would be, et cetera, et cetera. We tell you all that. We give you the recommended action of what to do in order to save that. Here's one here in Azure, right? That one was in AWS. Here's one in Azure, that talks about how to save $234 a month by shutting down and resizing your virtual machines. And, and again, it's for this specific subscription
workload. Yeah.
Yeah. And resource ID in particular, we bring it always down to what subscription. We give you the friendly name of it, et cetera. Excuse my thing here, how much it's going to save, what you're utilizing in, CPU utilization. We'll talk to you about how much we can save you. So that's all there. Now, what's even, and again, it's all across all three clouds. You don't need to go from place to place to look at that. Now, the other interesting thing is saying, okay, so first, Chris, you're giving me the ability to inform my lines of business. You're showing me how to optimize it. And not only can we showing you how to optimize it, but you can also create report profiles. You remember that lab that Kevin owns? Well, Kevin will now get a report of how to save money in his environment every time that it comes out with a new way to save money or improve his security posture, his high availability, or his performance. So now Kevin's getting these recommendations on what to do to manage his environment to the utmost.
You're shifting the responsibility to the owner of that resource or tenant.
That's correct. That's where we're trying to, give because it's a team sport here in FinOps. And when you talk about FinOps, it's not just about one person, the IT manager. No, it's not. It's the business, the product owner. It's finance, it's procurement, it's engineering, it's everybody working together. But what we're trying to do is provide a system that will allow you to do this without spending a huge amount of time pouring through spreadsheets. So now let's move over to operate. Now, this is really interesting. How are we going to help you operate and continuously improve? Well, we're really excited about this opportunity here because we think we have something that is pretty darn unique. So we have stat history that we can come in and say, look, on cost optimization, for example, we gave you back on July 31st, 6 warnings on how to save money. You can see that in the yellow, 6 warnings. And then on August 7th, it's great, went down to 3 warnings. Somebody went ahead and implemented 3 suggestions. But now we're back out here to August 30th, and we see we're back up to 6 warnings. And you can do the same thing on performance, security, or whatever. So if you're a manager in the audience, you can actually look at this and say, hey, guys, there's a lot of things in here that we are not implementing, et cetera, et cetera. I might do that to help with operate. But what we're really excited about, we have in beta right now, we're getting some really good response, is the maturity level. So in other words, what we're trying to do here is when we ask our customers, how are you doing in the cloud? They really don't know the answer to that. How am I doing in the cloud? I don't know. Well, now you're going to have a baseline. So when you install Inscape, we're going to come out and we're going to tell you whether you're in a crawling phase, walking, or running. And once again, following the FinOps Foundation, we're at this here. So we're over here saying, yeah, now, managers that might be on the phone or, people who might be worried about this. What we've heard from your peers is, what, this is great. At least I have a baseline. I'm crawling right now. But in 6 months or 3 months, hey, boss, I'm going to get to walking. And then, hey, boss, by the end of 9 months, I'm going to get to running. And we help you along that journey. We give you recommendations to improve your maturity score in operational excellence and high availability and fault tolerance or whatever it might be. We're giving you recommendations and walking you through how to get there. But what's really cool, and it's coming out very soon because we've had a lot of beta customers ask us for this. They said, Chris, since you already know, how much I'm spending and my cloud footprint, wouldn't it be great if you told me that how am I doing with other peer groups in my industry? So in other words, Kevin, you're a healthcare provider and you have 1,000 VMs, or let's say 500,000 resources in the cloud. I don't know. We're going to come out and say, look, for other healthcare providers with the same cloud footprint, here's how you rank to staying within budget. Here's how you rank against your peers as far as tagging is concerned among all your assets. And the beat goes on, right? I mean, we can come out with millions, literally things of how am I doing it compared to my peer group? So this way, as leaders in your organization, you can actually have something to shoot towards to say, I want to be best. And hey, management, upper management, whatever, here's how we are compared. And CDW literally has thousands and thousands of customers. So the more we put into Inscape, the better this comes. Does that make sense, Kevin?
Absolutely. And, it's how you stack up against your peers, right?
Yeah. And that's what it was great, because Inscape is community built. We run in 2-week sprints, and we always have your peers and your customers, and hopefully you will be saying, hey, look, it would be great if you could add this or do that. But that suggestion of saying, could you make the maturity not just around overall, but I would like to see it. Let me choose the industries I want to compare myself against the people with the same cloud footprint. And we thought that was a wonderful idea, and that's being implemented. Okay, finally, Kevin, because I know we're coming up here, anomalies. Okay, how many of you have ever been surprised by your cloud invoice? I'm sure almost everybody has. Before I get into this, let me tell you why people get surprised by their cloud invoice. And we have narrowed it down to 3 things. 1, a code irregularity in your system, a query that went awry, a block, some type of, batch job that is just running. Nobody knows until when, Kevin?
Until you get your bill at the end of the month.
You get the bill at the end of the month. You're like, what the hell happened? There was some runaway query or something and just sucked up all this compute. Second thing that's most common. Yeah, Kevin, can you run this batch job once a month for me? Yeah, I got it, boss, as you're walking by me. And what do? Kevin goes back.
Once an hour.
I swear to God, he said run that batch job once an hour or once a day. And at the end of the month, when they get their AWS or Azure bill, it comes in and like, what the hell happened? Oh, boss, I'm sorry. I thought you told me once a day, not once a month. And now you got 30. Or I'm sorry, I forgot to turn something off. And then the last one is a malicious activity, where we just had this happen literally last week. We had a customer who hired some consultants, and they started spinning up resources that they didn't know about until they got an Inscape anomaly. So let me show you here what Anomaly is about. Anomaly, the first thing I would like to tell you is Anomaly is a very light request from a security standpoint. The only thing we're asking you for is cost reader capabilities. And the machine learning, when you first put this in, it goes back 60 days and starts its learning pattern over those past 60 days. So what you do here is you can configure this for the whole company, or you can configure it by subscription or by account in AWS, right? So you can do either one. So really, we're looking at resources, okay, all the way down to the resource level, which is like storage or VMs or network. And as you know, resources then fall into resource groups. The resource groups own the resources, and the subscriptions own the resource groups. Where the biggest money is at the subscription level. So you set the sensitivity to how sensitive do you want this to be. And out of the box, we come with recommendations. But here, so you set this up. That's really what you do. You put into 3 people's names that you want to get notified by subscription, because maybe Kevin is only responsible for the Serious Lab, and that's who you're going to notify of, when that Serious Lab subscription comes up, if there's an anomaly. And you can receive notifications. The machine learning, don't ask me how, can look into the future 15 days and spot an anomaly. And we can also email you notifications about resources that are created or deleted. So you set that up. Okay, and then you say, you know, I want to be email notified if it's higher than $10, $100, whatever you want, you can do that. So let's just jump in here and show you an example. So here we're seeing, we're in this subscription. It's called UAT is the name of the subscription. And the machine learning comes back and says, you know what, your average upper margin is $22. Your lower margin is $20. Okay, and that's where it's at. And we can look over time. And we'll notice this anomaly here. This is an anomaly that actually went down, okay, which you also want to be know about. But let's go back and see if we can spot if there's an anomaly. Yep, it looks like I found one. Okay, so in this, we can see an anomaly is taking place, right? Everything's running fine, and then bam, we see it jump above from to $22 to $25, 25, 28, you know, $30, and then somebody did something and it came back to where it was. So you might say, well, what was going on here? You know, what's the word? So we're looking here at what is that, July 26th, I think it was. And you can come in and, you know, go over and let's look at July 26th, right? And you know, see what's in here. I think it was July 26th. Let me go back one. Sorry, people. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. God darn it.
It's a live demo, Chris. You're allowed.
I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go back. I hit the wrong button. Okay, so there's an anomaly here. You can come back, right, and you can see the anomalies that have taken place. Okay, you can see that you can, you know, which Microsoft Compute, and you can come in here and you can look at them up and say, what was the anomalies? We can see here on July 10th, there was an anomaly. I know I didn't go to the right one. I apologize. But there was an anomaly here on July 10th. And you know what? That happened. And you can now see on that date what happened, the old property versus the new property in this compute machine. And this will be notified within that. You know, it will help you, you know, find out like exactly what happened. So we've had customers who literally have said, Chris, this thing has saved us thousands of dollars. If you want to just say, hey, I only want to be notified, or when somebody created something, we tell you who created it, when they created it, and you can get notified about that, or deleted it. Once again, there's a lot of things in place, but this is like that old saying, belt and suspenders. Okay, there's other things in place that could help you this, but this is the belt and suspenders type. So Kevin, look, it's 3:46. I don't want to keep these great people longer than we have to. There's other things in here regarding, you know, Microsoft Teams governance. We'd love to take you through here. There's things around productivity insights that we mentioned earlier. So I think I just would like to say this, and we can open it up for questions. CDW has invested quite a bit into this platform. This is uniquely CDW's. And I hope you see where we're going with this, is that we're not out here just trying to sell you something. We're trying to increase your productivity, reduce your costs, mitigate your risks, not through just professional services, but our own intellectual IP when it comes to managing the cloud. So Kevin, I don't have anything else. What the call to act? Yeah. Go ahead.
We don't have any questions yet, but just to let you know, we'll be more than happy to give one-on-one demos for this. This is what we do all day long. Allow you to see it, touch it, feel it, make sure that it's something that's viable for you. And if you're in the cloud, I guarantee you'll see the value that this has for you. So if you have any questions for Chris or myself, we'll be more than happy to answer them. We do have 13 minutes left in our scheduled time. So please ask whatever questions, just pop them in the chat. Okay, Fernando, if you want me to unmute you, Fernando, and you want to ask, I can do that, I think, if I can find you. Hold on one sec. Well, I can't find you, so you just type it in there, Fernando, and we'll answer your question. If I could find you, I would. We have a lot of people in here, so.
I see Fernando.
And
I enabled his mic.
Okay. Okay, Fernando.
We are
Thank you.
auto-scaling groups. There he
Go
is.
ahead.
Yeah, that is one question. If auto-scaling groups are considered as anomalies, because the cost will actually rise up a lot when VMs are actually in an auto-scaling process, especially by the end of the month. So that is my first question. And the other one is, if you were saying that subscription level will actually be the ultimate place to go to, but some companies are actually using the management groups, not the resource group. And management groups are actually meant for managing subscriptions, grouping together. So
Yes.
is that something that you are considering?
Yes. So let me answer the first question. So you're talking about auto scaling. So it's machine learning, and it will learn your patterns and as it scales. Like if you have a spike on a weekend or whatever it might be, and it's meant to be, it will learn this and not. It will capture the anomaly. It just won't notify you, and you'll see because it learns over time. You can choose when you're setting it up. If you know there's going to be something, you can turn that off and say, I don't want the anomaly detection to be on this. So it's very flexible, but the only thing I can tell you is that every day it gets smarter and smarter. It knows the pattern. It starts to realize the pattern, and it will not notify you of anomaly if it's a pattern that's happened once before, twice before. My machine learning people can tell you about that, but that's that. I hope that answers your question. So if you have it set to auto scale because of big shopping days or whatever the reason might be, running payroll systems every 2 weeks or whatever it might be, the anomaly will learn that over time. The next question that you had was regarding the subscriptions, which you're right, in the management groups. This is something that you have brought up, and others have brought this up as well. It's something that we are considering and looking at that. We're working with some of your peers because that has been brought up about like, hey, Chris, this is like the future of where it's going. So it's something that we're looking at. We're capturing all the data. It's just, how do we present it in a fashion and have the learning understand that, machine learning pointing at that. But yes, I would agree that that's what's next. I would say that there's a lot more people doing that.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, thank you. Good questions. I see Joey.
Okay, Joe, yeah, I'm going to allow Joe to talk. So Joe, you should be unmuted now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the demo too. I guess my question comes around more so on the security side is for your API calls and everything that you're doing when a say tier 1 or tier 2 help desk engineer logs into this platform. When those changes are made, if I were to audit it through the Microsoft side of things, would I see that engineer being posted? Okay, it's not just a generic user from the application side that's posting those changes.
Yes, and it's a really good question, and we also we give full audit logs as well of everything that is done within the system, and you could also capture that within Microsoft's system. So we're really capturing it both ways. So like here's the absolute audit date, the object that was modified, the commandlets, whether it succeeded, etc. So you can also have alert settings in here if you wanted to be alerted of anything like this. But yes, we understand that, and there is an opportunity where you have the Office 365 audit logs, and then you also have the Inscape audit logs. So yes, we have that, and we can talk more about that if you'd like to. But we did address that for several customers who had those questions.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No, thank you. Great question. I would also like to just going back to what Joey brought up in regards to this. I think it's important because the security is on the top of everybody's mind. Can you see my screen, Kevin? Am I sharing again?
No, you're not. No.
Okay.
Right now.
So let me just share real quick, and then we'll just do this. So the interesting thing is that when you first log in, you have to give permission to get into the Inscape platform. You have to give us permission just to get into the Inscape platform. But then each one of these different service offerings, or we call them the tiles, requires different permissions. So in other words, Anomaly, like we spoke about, is going to ask you, it's going to say, hey, will you give this application permission to be cost reader? Where Team Captain is going to ask you for different permissions because we're managing Microsoft Teams. Cloud management might ask for different things. So I just want to let you know that it's not one broad-based, thing. You can, and then there's also RBAC on who can access what within Inscape.
So, Chris, I don't see any more questions, but those are really good ones that we got there at the end. But again, you guys want a one-on-one, we'll be more than happy to do it for you. We're going to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Just, regarding the billing, there are high differences between AWS and Azure bills. So is it possible with this solution to better understand an Azure invoice? Because AWS ones are pretty decent ones, very detailed, but not the Azure ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we believe, based upon, well, first of all, the old saying, misery loves company. You're not the only one that feels this way, Fernando. So we feel that we're, based upon our explanation with our customers, we give some really good detail information. What we give is a simple invoice for accounting, but then the ability to drill into the details we have without having to go through tons of spreadsheets. And Fernando, if you're interested, we can absolutely just show you what we do and how other people use it. Just reach out to your CDW rep and we'll show it to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, anyone else? We do have a few minutes here. We'll be more than happy to answer whatever questions you might have. No, I don't see anything, Chris,
Okay.
but
all right. Well,
great job.
I think really where we're at here is, we would love to show it to you. Just reach out to your CDW executive, any of our teammates, and hey, say, I saw something with Inscape. Would love to do a deeper dive. We can spin up, a test environment. You can kick the tires, for, whatever it is, 9 months, 6 months. How long are we doing? 6 months trials or something like this, I think.
It's something like that. Something
crazy. CDW is giving this thing away for like 6 months. So anyway, the point being is just reach out to your teammates at CDW and we'll gladly, spin up a tenant for you. You can play with it, see what it's all about. Thank you very much, Kevin. Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Stacy, thank you. And it is a 6-month trial. Yay. Thank you for that. I forgot it. It's been a long day. Thank you so much. So anyway, thank you, everybody, and look forward to working with you.
Have a great Labor Day weekend. Bye-bye.